Do you have a bunch of scrapbooking stickers and embellishments around your craft space that you forgot you had or aren't using often enough? I was in the same boat, so I wanted to share these albums that I put together that have really helped me to corral my little pieces and remember I have them and actually use them on my layouts. So I'm going to show you the process from organizing all the embellishments to color coding them and putting them in the albums, plus tips to help them not fall out because some of those pesky little pieces like to do that. So let's go ahead and dive in. I grabbed all of my random embellishments from around my craft room. Most of these were in the same embellishment file, but I just don't always think to look for them. And a lot of the packages are, have very little left in them. And so I don't always think to just open up the package and look and see what's in there. And a lot of these are also old, so I don't remember that I have them or I've been using the newer stuff. So I really wanted to remember that I had these. I first started by setting all of my titles aside. So I have that one was from an old sticker sheet where I had used the rest of the sticker sheet, and so I just cut those little pieces off that I hadn't used. This is my preliminary sorting. I'm sort of like just setting things aside, setting the titles aside because I'm starting with that. And then these ones have little paperboard pieces and acrylic, so I set those together. And then all of these other pieces I'm putting sort of in piles of like items. This ends up not mattering too much. Like I said, it's a preliminary sort, and then I'm going to go through and get down to the nitty gritty and actually open every package and cut apart every piece and put them into color piles. So this is just kind of taking inventory, if you will, of what I have. And I also have never done this before, so we'll see how this plays out as we go. These are the pages that I'm putting my embellishments on. They are those magnetic sticky pages that we used back in the day. Probably not great for photos, although they do say they're acid-free and photo safe, but they're great for embellishments. I actually learned about these or relearned about them from Jennifer McGuire. She used these sticky sheets to store pre-stamped sentiments for card making, and I thought it was brilliant. And then I'm using this 8.5 by 11 album from Close to My Heart. It's a nice high quality one, but any 8.5 by 11 album would do. You might want one that's 2 inches maybe. These ones are 1 inch and I needed 2 albums, so it would depend on how many embellishments you have. Now, before I continued sorting all of my items, I started adding to the album and then realized I really need to organize more before I do this part. But I'm going to start, and I'm going to start with all of the titles because I had a whole bunch of them set aside. Once I put down that birthday title, I then realized, oh, I have some other birthday titles in this little pack here. So I made this page birthday titles and made it more themed. Not all of the pages are themed like that. Most of them are by color, but sometimes it makes sense to go by theme and sometimes it makes sense to go by color. So I kind of put them all down and then rearranged, trying to pack as many in as I could. But keep in mind that what keeps that top sheet down is the sticky underneath showing. So if you pack it too full, it's not going to have anything to stick down to. So I tried to make sure that there was a little bit of stick for it to hold it down. And then we'll move on to the next page. I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the album here so that it's in frame for you. And then we'll go ahead and start with the next pages. Like I said, I got this sticky sheet idea from Jennifer McGuire, and then my good friend Janice shared a way that she organized all of her stickers and embellishments over in our Creative Design Team membership as one of the tips. And she did it a little bit different, but sort of similar. So I married the two ideas into what worked for me, and so far this is working really, really well. I've tried it out for a few months. I wanted to make sure I really liked it before I shared it with you guys, but hopefully you love it as much as I do and actually use your pieces as much as I have. So at this point, I realized that I really need to get all of my pieces cut and that this also is going to be a much bigger job than I thought it would be. So make sure you set aside several days of sessions because I worked on this for probably 4 or 5 nights after work, and it takes quite a while, depending on how big your stash is. But what I ended up doing was cutting all of the titles out of sticker sheets or taking them out of my little embellishment packages, setting all of the titles aside, and then going through my sticker sheets and going one by one through each sticker and making a pile for every color. I first started with similar color piles, like maybe a light teal and a dark teal would be together. But then as I kept going, I realized that I had quite a few dark teal and quite a few light teal. And so I really separated them by individual color. This worked out well because I do mostly have close to my heart products, so most of my colors, were all the same. Some of them were a little bit different and some of them were other brands, but for the most part, I could have, like all of the glacier together and all of the raspberry together and so forth. But basically just made a hot pink pile, a light pink pile, a dark blue pile, a light blue pile, black, gray, gold, silver. And so once I had everything in piles, I had my whole desk completely covered. And then I just went through my pages one by one and added all of the gold pieces. Some are stickers, some are vellum little die cut pieces. There are all sorts of little pieces in various types of materials because they're from so many different packages. And so it's so cool now when I just need a little something else on my layout and I'm not sure quite what, but I think, oh, I need a little something yellow or I need a little something black. I can just turn to those pages and find little doodads. And you may have seen me do that in some of my layouts recently because I started introducing this book and talking about it and kind of teasing that I had captured some footage while I was doing it. Now that I know I'm loving it, I am happy to be sharing it with you finally. Now, I found that the chipboard pieces did not stick very well to this album, so I went through and the ones that were kind of starting to fall off, I added a little bit of dot runner behind them. This is close to my heart's dot runner, and it's nice for the skinny pieces because since the adhesive is little dots, not like a solid piece, it sticks well to those skinny little pieces. Another thing is I have these pages pretty packed because I have a lot of embellishments, and so there's not a lot of space for those top sheets to stick to hold everything in. So I just went through one by one through each page, and anything that seemed like it was not a real tight fit, I went in and adhered down a little bit. So that page was really full, but most of the pieces were pretty flat. This is my black glitter chipboard page. A lot of these pieces are very small, and so some of them stuck well to the page. Some of them I had to add a little bit of extra adhesive. I used my tweezers to help me grab all the little pieces to put them on. And I've already used a ton from that page. It's really, really exciting to look back at this and know that I've actually used a bunch of those pieces already. So I'm going to do a flip through of both albums now. This one is mostly titles, like I mentioned, and in the beginning is like rainbow colors. I don't have enough to color code all of the titles. And then these ones are more color coded. And then I got into more themed items. So Halloween, fall, sports, mermaids, butterflies. It's mostly themed items in the back. And then the next album is pretty much all color coded. So we've got the tans and the golds and the silvers. I've used a bunch from this page, which is exciting. Note that blank page on the left that just had a couple embellishments. I found it tricky. Sometimes I had done a whole bunch of pages and then later found some more embellishments in a color on a page I'd already done and I ran out of space, so I had to add a page in there. So that kind of gets tricky, but it's fine. It all works out in the end. And, I just love seeing all of these color-coded pages. They just make me so happy. And I'm so happy that I can see an inventory of what I have at a glance and actually use them. I wanted to just show you a quick look at all of the packaging that I have left. I do reuse these bags. I keep all of the bags because they're really handy for things, especially this size here. It's great for mixed media. You can stick your hand in there and pick up ink with it. It's really, really a great bag. So I hope you'll find other uses as well. And I hope you like this idea. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try it. I would love to know, and I'll leave the album pages linked down in the description below. If you're interested in more organization ideas, then be sure to check out my craft room tour video that's on screen now. If you found this video helpful, then please give it a like so YouTube knows, and be sure to subscribe for more scrapbooking ideas. Thanks for watching!